Mr. Cordray, thank you for being here. You authorized, did you not, the creation of the Academic Advisory Commission or Council?
I think it's called Academic Research Council, but yes.
And you authorized
Actually, it was before I became director, but it's something that has existed at the Bureau for some time.
Okay. Now, does that council report to the Assistant Director of Research, who was until recently Sundhill Malanakum?
Yeah, I wouldn't say report to. It's an advisory council that's meant to assist us in our work and give us broader perspective on many of these issues.
But in the org chart, where would they report to?
They would work, well, they're not employees of the Bureau. They're folks from outside who are willing to spend some of their time helping us think about these issues.
Okay, but this is a group that you gather in, and you decided this was a good idea to have this board.
Again, it's existed since before I was the director, but yes, it is a good idea.
Okay, so have you heard of the company called Ideas 42?
I believe I've heard that name.
Okay. What do you know about it?
Not much.
Okay. Are you aware that CFPB awarded a research contract for $5 million to Ideas 42?
I believe I knew that. Probably
Okay.
not familiar with all the details of that.
And was this a process that was a competitive bid process, or was this more of a single source contract?
So all of our procurements at the Bureau go through the regular federal laws and contracting guidelines, and we've been audited on that extensively.
but
and I don't know offhand whether that was
single source contracting.
Single source,
Yeah.
but it was done according to government procedures.
No, I understand, but single source contracting exists, right? And that's permissible.
I believe
okay.
so. Yes.
So if you'd let us know whether or not that was competitive bid,
Sure.
how many
Sure.
bids there were, and for from what companies?
Okay.
And then furthermore, that full process for this.
Okay.
It's a $5 million contract, and that's important. Are you aware that Sundhill Malanakum was a co-founder of the company Ideas 42?
I don't know if I was familiar with that or not. I don't believe so.
Okay, but he was the former research head of research, right, or assistant director for research.
That's correct. He was. He's no longer employed by the Bureau, but he's a well-regarded economist, MacArthur Grant winner, and well-known in the field.
Yes, and the question I ask is about your policies and procedures.
Yes.
For a former staffer of yours to get a $5 million contract without any apparent bid, he is a co-founder of this company. And go ahead, please respond.
Yeah, I don't know that the details of that are all accurate. I don't believe, as far as I know, that Sendel is involved in the management of that company. But
no,
I'm
he's
happy
a
to have our
co-founder of
folks
that company.
at one time.
Yes.
Yes.
And are you aware that
Different
4 of
time
your
working
6
with
members of the Academic Research Council have direct connections to Ideas 42?
Again, I don't know what you mean by direct connections.
Well,
Happy
number
to have our
one
staff
is a
follow up.
founder and board member of Ideas 42. 1 is an advisor, and 2 are affiliates of that firm.
I don't know what you mean by advisor or affiliates, and when you say founder, are you talking about Sendel there?
Well, this is,
or
yeah,
someone
this
else?
is, yes.
Okay. Happy to have our staff follow up with you. I'm quite confident that everything done there, as has been true of all of our procurements, was done properly in accordance with government procedures.
So do these connections raise any question about conflicts of interest when you have an advisory board? 4 of the 6 members have a connection to a company that gets a direct contract from the CFPB for $5 million.
Again,
and furthermore, that you have a founder who was formerly with your employ, and we're not sure of the circumstances of his leaving, but he's apparently departed in the ensuing amount of time between, in the last year, it appears.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. Look, I'm quite confident that everything was done properly, that we have carefully vetted these kinds of conflicts of interest. We're happy to have my staff work with your staff to go through it in detail.
Well, we'd like to have some answers on this, because it appears to us
it will be a concern to me. So
it appears to us an enormous conflict of interest, and it raises greater concerns that we have with the policies and procedures you have to avoid conflicts of interest with your staff and former members of your staff who have enormous connections, both with policymaking without much in the way of a cooling off period of any sort before they come back to either receive a no-bid contract or maybe even a competitive contract. We don't know. So I'd like to have answers to these questions.
That'd be fine. Thank you.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The chair